Festo productivity tools. And so each of these four that we're going to present is one of many software tools that Festo offers to make it easier for customers to either order products or size and select products. And so I'm going to present electric motion sizing and the Festo automation suite, and then Eric is going to present the 3D design tool and handling guide online. So starting with electric motion sizing, unless you are familiar with all our software, you probably don't know. So what is it? Let's start there. Basically, electric motion sizing is a software tool for sizing a servo axis. And so what that means is when a customer, they know, hey, I want to use a servo axis on my machine. Well, we have this tool that helps them size it and select and order the components. And that includes the servo drive and the motor. It includes an actuator if they're using one. That can be a linear actuator like the electric cylinder that you see here, or it could be a rotary actuator, or maybe no actuator at all if they're just using a motor and drive. And then the software lets the customer select things like the motor mounting kit, gearbox, cables, mounting hardware. They can add all of those to the bill of material as they're building up this solution. What's really nice about this tool, it's a completely online tool. So that means it's easy to access. It's on the website. You can get to it directly, festo.com/electric motion sizing, EMS, or there are navigation points throughout the website. So if a customer's looking at our servo drives, they get prompted to use this tool to help them size it. And the intent behind this tool is really to make it as easy to use for customers as possible so that they have this effortless sizing process. So let me show you what that's like. So how does it work? This is sort of high level, but to go into it would be more time consuming than we have time for. So the customer selects their application type first. That's going to be, do I want a linear application? Am I doing a rotary application? And then we have a series of templates within those areas where, for example, if the customer was doing a pressing or a clamping application, they would select a template like this, and then they would click on the button to enter the application information. And so that's the next piece of this is we want to gather the customer's application information, things like what load are they moving, what kind of cycle times do they need, and so on and so forth. And so the customer knows about their application. They know what they have on their machine as far as field bus and supply voltage and what load they're going to move. They know all that information, but they may not know our products at all. And so the goal is to keep them in the application side, like have them enter as much information about the application without requiring them to know anything about what products we're going to recommend. So once we've gathered all the application information, then electric motion sizing provides a list of possible solutions. The customer can then select from those solutions and they can customize that solution. So for example, on the previous page, I showed you a solution where it had an electric cylinder, a servo drive, servo motor with a cable. So in addition to that, the customer can go in and they can add other accessories to the bill of material, things like the mounting hardware or well, any of the accessories for the motor, the drive, or the actuator are available there. And once they've got that complete bill of materials, then they can order that solution. They can either just click a button saying add this bill of materials to my Festo cart, and then they can order it directly from the website, or they can copy and paste that bill of materials into a larger project file that they're going to send to their purchasing department, for example, at a later date. So what makes electric motion sizing innovative? So the software tool itself is fairly recent. It's been around for a little over 2 years. It was released in 2021. Prior to that, we had an offline tool that customers and our sales engineers could use for sizing servo axes. So it wasn't an online tool. You had to download it to your laptop and then you could run it from there. So Festo's been doing this for quite a while. But that said, with software, we are constantly innovating our software. We want it to be working for the customer needs as much as possible. And so the other aspect of this is that we are one of only a handful of tools that are out there. You can go to many of our competitors who do servo drives and motors, and they don't have a tool like this on their website. And so customers end up with sort of a variety of solutions that or tools that they use to do sizings, right? They could have internal tools like Excel spreadsheets, or other tools that they've developed for sizing servo drives and motors, or they're using a third-party sizing software. And so, we're one of a handful that are out on the market. So that puts us into a unique space. And then we're constantly updating our software in order to improve it and make it more functional for our customers. And so one of those updates that we've done this year is we added these additional templates into the software. So if a customer is they want to use our servo drive and our servo motor with a third-party mechanism, they can use these templates. So an example of that is we don't make index tables, rotary index tables. We don't make we don't make conveyor systems. We don't make rack and pinions, and we don't sell ball screws on their own. So these are all examples of templates where the customer might be buying a conveyor from somebody else or rack and pinion from somebody else, but they want to try and use our servo drive and our motor to control that. And so these templates become an easy way for them to basically include the information about the third-party conveyor system or the third-party rack and pinion, and then size our motor and drive to work with that third-party mechanic. And then the last piece of this that is unique to us is we offer the ability to download a commissioning file for that solution. So the idea is the customer goes in, they choose the solution they want, and they have a couple of options. They can download a sizing report. This is a PDF document that completely documents the application information they entered as well as the solution itself. And then an additional download is they can download a commissioning file. And this is a file that they can take and import into our configuration software. And when they do that, instead of having to manually enter all of the components of the solution, hey, it's this servo drive with this motor, this cable, this actuator, this gearbox, all of that, they basically just click a button, they import that configuration into the configuration software, and it just makes that whole process much easier, and it saves time. So those are the primary benefits to that, is it just easier to use and saves the customer time. And so if we look at the flip side of this, right, the electric motion sizing tool, that's on the design side. So the customers are using that when they're trying to select what components they want to use on their machine. So that's the design piece. When they go to commission it, then they're going to be using the Festo automation suite. And that's our free software. They can download it from our website. And basically, it lets them do commissioning or configuring, of our CMMT servo drives, as well as any of our remote I/O products like the CPX API or CPX APA that Eric mentioned at the start of this presentation. So all of those devices get configured through that software. And additionally, if a customer is using any of our controllers, then they can do the programming in the automation suite for those controllers. This software has been around for around 5 years now. So it was released in 2018. One of the things about software that's great is how you can just continually update it and provide additional innovations. And so, this on when we're looking at it from this side of how do we connect the design phase through to the commissioning phase, that ability to import that commissioning file from electric motion sizing or from our handling guide online, which is the software Eric will talk about at the end of our presentation here. You can just import those commissioning files, and it makes the commissioning piece of the journey from sizing to ordering to commissioning. It makes that piece easier. Just connects those pieces together.
All right. Okay, we'll go on to the next tool. So this is the Design Tool 3D. And wouldn't be a Festo meeting if we didn't throw some pneumatic stuff in here. Yep. So the idea with this tool is to decrease overhead and bring machines to market faster. And the way this tool allows our customers to do that is by giving them this intuitive and easy to use tool that enables them to build pneumatic cylinders, pneumatic drives with guiding, and semi-rotary drives in this online configuration tool. It's in addition to building the cylinder, as you can see as this video is playing, they can add fittings, tubing, sensors, etc., other accessories to the cylinder. It's all done in this 3D simulated environment, so you can view the part as you build it. It offers a ton of convenience because without a tool like this, the customer is basically just has a stack of catalogs and it says, okay, I've got this cylinder. I'm going to choose this size. What size fittings do I need? What size rod attachments, etc. The tool gets rid of all of that by just presenting the user with the accessories that make sense. So they have assured compatibility. They also have assured availability because we're only giving them the components that are readily available. So if they need a check valve or a particular type of tubing, they're going to get what's on the shelf and ready to ship. It takes minutes to do this. It's very quick, and the result is you get a single ID number that you can use to purchase the solution, and everything ships together in one kit. So it just takes the process of buying pneumatic cylinders and drives and just simplifies it incredibly and puts all this in this cool, fun to use tool. It's actually quite fun to use, to just drive in there and add different fittings and accessories and see how the cylinder is going to come together.
And I assume, is this an online tool since it's got access to what's available in stock?
Yep,
Is that correct? Okay.
that's correct. Yeah, this one is completely online. But you could save ID numbers, you can share them with colleagues, you can come back to them. So it's online, but it has some really nice tools to make it usable over time. So it's not like you just go on there and it forgets about you. You can actually remember things. And then the final productivity tool is, we should almost reverse the order of this. This one's kind of an extension. In my mind, I think of it as an extension of electric motion sizing, which Tom was showing. So the key with Handling Guide Online is that you're easily sizing and selecting multi-axis systems. So when we go from a single axis to 2 axes or 3 axes, this tool allows you to build systems for those applications. And it's a similar process to electric motion sizing. Basically, there's 3 steps. The user enters their application requirements. What is the payload? What are the speeds, etc. The stroke length. The system gives them a list of results from which they select a system that they like, and then they configure that system. What kind of options do they want? Do they want Festo motors and drives? Do they want sensors pre-assembled and installed? And then they configure the system within a fraction of the time it would take to do this manually with catalog information. They get a full visualization like you see here in 3D. And then they get full documentation as well. So all the CAD of the system and whatever tool they're using, a technical data sheet that gives them all the specifications, and then this commissioning file. So we just talked about this a second ago. This commissioning file is similar to electric motion sizing. This is the file that comes out of this product, this online tool, which the customer can then take to their on-premise tool and configure the actual hardware. So this tool is actually building them a solution that takes them all the way through procurement and into installation and even into service later on, because this tool builds a system ID for their handling system, which they can actually go get spare parts with later on in the future. So Handling Guide Online, it's been around for a few years, but like electric motion sizing, we continue to improve it. It now features the multi-protocol drives that Tom talked about. It includes all the latest and greatest actuators and other products from Festo. And it's a unique solution to Festo. None of our competitors in the multi-axis handling space have something quite as robust as this, that not only helps you build the system, visualize it, and design it and order it, but also then takes you through installation and service for the life of the system.